gentlemen, hello and welcome to the CSL. My name is Joe Laguitas and I'm joined here today by a man you may not have seen before. It is Rapid Casting. How you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It is a brisk 11 a.m. here, so perfect timing, Joe. And yeah, I'm filling in for a little bit of CSL StarCraft casting. Usually people catch me over on the League of Legends side, but I do actually cast StarCraft from time to time out here in Seoul, South Korea, so it's good to be here, Joe.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We've got a terrific matchup here for you guys today. It's going to be kind of one of those classic CSL matches with University of Austin versus UC Berkeley, who's historically one of the strongest CSL teams. Oh, it looks like the game is not showing up for some reason. My StarCraft cursor is. Let's see if we can't go ahead and get that sorted out.
I was like, somehow I can capture the in-game cursor, but not the game itself. So, this is where we all type thinking emojis in chat. But, yeah, gotta love game capture. Makes our lives go around and then sometimes goes down. But, yikes, I'm pretty sure Skype just showed on the screen. That's unfortunate. Don't worry, I wasn't saying anything too egregious.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to our faces while I fix this. I didn't realize OBS Studio would change the source hot like that.
It does, yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to try to fix this because
I'm just watching some probes mining, man. That is my job right now.
Huh. Okay, game capture just straight doesn't work right now, so
what a time to be alive.
We're gonna go ahead and do a whole monitor capture.
Whoa, that's the danger zone there, Joe.
Yes, it is.
Do not try this at home, guys.
You're not wrong.
I have had many game capture faux pas in my time, but nothing akin to the full monitor captures. Well, while Joe is setting that up, also I believe I am at Joe _ I can't even pronounce your last name.
Laguitas,
I've tried.
No problem.
So
yes,
in my brain,
around.
Every time I read your name in my brain, I say something like logo dice or something, or like I don't know. It's like if you ever read books and then go watch a movie based on the book, and you hear the main character's name said in the movie, you're just like, wait a second, that's not the name that I read, because I just like read them and don't like think about how things are said. So hopefully we can actually get into this game. Well, I mean, nothing is actually happening just yet.
If anything's going on, just
no, they literally are just building like command centers and nexuses and stuff. It's absolutely nothing has happened. So no worries about that. Every time I click on the Reaper, and yes, there's a Reaper, spoiler alert, he's gonna get a probe kill too. So other than that, every time I click on the Reaper and I see that the KD8 charge has a 14-second cooldown, I cry little Terran tears inside.
Oh, are you a Terran player?
I am a Terran player, because whenever I get supply blocked, I can call down supply. Hell yeah.
And even on monitor capture. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. That was really weird. I'm going to try to smooth it out during the next break. But anyways, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, playing for the University of California, Berkeley, it is our red Protoss player, Padre.
There we go. All right. And in the upper left-hand corner, this is going to be, I was about to say of Abyssal Reef, but this is game number 2 first. But on the upper left-hand corner in the purple, this is our Terran player, Timorous. All right. Interestingly enough, in Korean, they do not have accents on different syllables in sentences. So this being English, I'm not sure if it's Timorous.
I like Timorous.
I mean, that's what I'm going to go with, too. That's the great thing about casting players who do not specify the way that you're supposed to say their names, or players who have just, like, super wacky names, is you get to say whatever you want.
Well, anyways, we spawned in at kind of an opportune time because the Dark Shrine is about halfway done now. Padre is a guy. If you guys don't know Padre, he's been, like, kind of a GM level player forever. He's been involved in the scene. He was Flipside Tactics player manager back when they were taking StarCraft a lot more seriously. I know he's worked with Elevate as well. And he's a guy that his mechanics aren't quite up to par with the best of the best of the best pros, but he's always had some really sharp builds, some tricky plays. He's come really close to qualifying for WCS a couple times, and he doesn't take the game nearly as seriously now as he did back then, obviously. But he's still a guy that can bust out some really cool plays, so I'm excited to see how this Dark Templar build goes with the Warp Prism coming up.
Yeah, here we go. Padres Warp Prism, the father of all Warp Prisms, getting ready to warp in some DTs into the back of the base. Now, depending on where he goes here, it might be scouted out by the gas assimilator, or not assimilator, refinery. Here we go, 2 DTs into the main right as the missile turret finishes. They're going to start killing SCVs, but they should probably target down that missile turret. Either way, look at the SCV casualties, not moving them away in time. 10 going down.
Yeah, that was an absolute bloodbath here. The Warp Prism did back off without rescuing the DT. Liberator was able to come in and chase that away. Liberators take a really long time to kill Warp Prisms, but obviously you don't want to be hanging around and risking it. Better to get out with your pressure unit alive. Yep. Keep the Terran scared. Keep him defensive. And even though there was a counter drop with that Widow Mine, I think Padre got far and away the better end of that engagement.
Yeah, just checking the units lost tab, and way more successful in that harassment. And it's actually pretty rare to see such effective DT harassment. But now it's time to dish out some freedom. Liberator coming down. It's going to siege the mineral base at the third. I'm like, okay, there's no mining there. So instead, making its way to that natural expansion, we'll see if he can even up that workers lost tab.
Yeah, and Padre was actually going for a bit of a push out here, so he may be completely out of position for this. He's got Blink about halfway done with these Stalkers, but Blink Stalkers can't help you with Liberators when they're all the way across the map. He's coming up here trying to put some damage onto this thing. Back at home, the Liberator continuing to bring Hellfire down on his mineral lines, but Padre may have enough to continue the shove.
Okay, well, thankfully there are Widow Mines. As a Terran player, I'm always just super happy that Widow Mines exist and are so good. So the Stalkers can't really push in just yet. There's no like observers or anything crazy like that to allow him to walk up and take those down. But yeah, it's just Marines defending against Stalkers, and I think we all know how that goes, Joe.
Yeah, once that Blink finishes up, that's going to be the cue for Padre to push in here and start being a bit more aggressive. Being able to take fights a bit more efficiently. He can pick off loose SCVs like the one we see trying to get that bunker up for Timorous here. And really cute Warp Prism right here. It's almost like having a second Blink that doesn't even need any kind of cooldown. And Padre manages to keep his Stalkers alive while continuously applying pressure at the Terran front.
This actually reminds me a lot of like a Brood War Terran versus Protoss, where the Protoss would push out and then use the well, in that case, Dragoons to like pressure the front of the Terran base, and then Terran would get siege mode and then push the Protoss back. It's a little bit different in that now, blinking forward, taking out that Liberator. So no harassment coming back towards our Protoss player Padre. And on the other side of the map, yeah, like you were saying earlier, Joe, Timorous just kind of timid, kept back into his base by all that pressure.
Yeah, he is going to be getting his third CC out now, so getting that third base economy going, rather, will help him out, catch up, equalize that income with his opponent, but he's going to have to hold on from another shove from Padre, and I think this one could be a lot more decisive because there's no longer a Liberator that's kind of dividing Padre's attention and forcing him to pull back the Liberator.
Yeah, also, all of the Widow Mines are in a Warp Prism flying across the map, trying to stem forward. There's just not enough bio here. Timorous heading back to his main, and man, the macro just not on point. Even though the Twitter Mine will get a decent shot off, Blink Away mitigates most of that damage. The scariest unit in the game, SCVs, chasing the Stalkers back. But for how long, Joe?
Ooh, Timorous took a lot of damage that he absolutely didn't need to because he rallied those SCVs over to the third base. Third base wasn't quite landing them and bounced back to try to return their minerals. And
well, he's going to lose his command center here too, and that is the worst casualty.
Yeah, that's going to be weird and unfortunate. Timorous on two-base economy again, which looks really all of his hopes are going to be in some kind of upcoming shove. He cannot sit on two bases and try to go toe-to-toe with a third-base Protoss.
To be fair, there was a really nice Widow Mine hit there on the exit, and quite a few Stalkers did go down. There's also effective Widow Mine harass off on the back of that. You can see 3 Widow Mines burrowed in the main base that basically just killed every single probe there. I mean, there's not a lot of minerals there, so maybe that's somewhat of a Pyrrhic victory. And yeah, just no probes mining in the main anymore. So for all intents and purposes, this is still 2-base versus 2-base, and Terran has mules. So if you just look at the income, you're not really going to see the immediate impact of that fight. But here's the real I guess result of that, Joe. 1,billion, I counted, stalkers headed across the map.
Yeah, so I think Padre's going to have to be very careful to try to avoid taking any kind of splash damage. Stalkers are one of those weird units where, depending on how you use them, they can either look super broken and overpowered, or they can look super weak and just die to the tools that the Terran has, like your not your Medivacs, but your Widow Mines and your tanks, and all of that splash offer. 10 more probes just went down for Padre.
Yeah, he's not dealing with these Widow Mines very well at all. So, I mean, that's one way to get back in the game.
Yeah, at this point, I believe Padre has lost more workers. It's going to be 40 to 28.
Oh my goodness!
He's gotta decide one way or the other, man. He can either deal with all of this drop rafts coming in, or he can go try to kill his opponent. But moving out, taking a bunch of damage, and then walking back is not doing him any favors right now.
Yeah, it's just really interesting because you were actually the one talking about how maybe this pressure at the front was going to keep Terran scared in his space, but now after so many Widow Mine hits have gone off, it's actually done kind of the opposite thing, and now Padre is the one pulling back, trying to defend his 3 bases, and this might give Padre a way to, or not Padre, Timorous an opportunity to get a 3rd base up that will stay up this time.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be what the Purple Terran is hoping for, as we do see that 3rd command center about halfway done here. Padre going to be moving out. He's got a lot of stalkers. He's got a lot of disruptors. I still think he has the stronger army here, but it's definitely going to be harder to take a good engagement. 12 probes.
Wow, how does this keep happening? I mean, okay, we're finally starting to see a commitment to building cannons in the mineral line, but I mean, that should have probably happened a while ago. Whoa, big disruptor shot, nice split against it, trying to micro forward and take those disruptors out, but they continue to get a lot of value.
Yeah, it looks like Padre is going to continue pressing up here. He knows he wants to do some damage after taking all of those Widow Mine shots, and these disruptor shots are going off absolutely terrifically. He does lose 1 disruptor. That means he's only going to have 2 left anchoring at the back of his army here. Bio and Marauders are going to be dancing around the top of this map, trying not to take any significant hits. What is Padre going to do from here?
It looks like he's just going to try to find another avenue in. His disruptor control on the actual disruption orbs are actually is good. Afterwards, things are not quite as great. A nice Widow Mine hits actually do connect a couple onto these stalkers, which are very badly bruised.
Yeah, it looks like Padre has been forced back by Timorous' excellent defense. Really solid positioning there with his Widow Mines and just maneuvering his army around that, knowing that the Widow Mines were going to offer an anchor. Good hold by Timorous. He knows he's done a lot of damage. He knows that he's basically brought himself into an equal game here, and I think he's got to be feeling pretty good after how the beginning of that game went.
Yeah, this is really interesting to see. I mean, mules are pretty cool, man. Helping Timorous get back into this game. He also needs to make sure those SCVs are on the job and not mining to the wrong command center. But he's going to actually bunker up the 3rd and just really try to lock down this 3rd base. If he can make sure that that gets up and running, I mean, the Terran machine, even if it's not mech, is going to start kicking in with insane bioproduction.
Yeah, it's important to note that Padre is basically just fighting with Stalker Disruptor here. And the Disruptors are great. They can scale further into the game. They can keep being strong until the Liberators come out. But Stalkers, as you start to get closer to trying to get that big, powerful army, they just don't scale the way that the Bio does. But Padre is committed to this tech path. He feels that with blinks and everything, this is the army he wants to make work. And I think it's going to be in his interest to try to make it work soon.
Yep. I mean, disruptors, like you said, do get a lot of value the longer the game goes on. Having a bunch of those, it's really difficult to deal with high disruptor counts with a big bio ball, because I mean, you can try to split them, and to his credit, Timorous is doing a decent job at that. But I mean, disruptors, you know, is free value. It doesn't cost anything to use it, which is a slight advantage over its Brood War counterpart, the Reaver. So I'm just glad disruption. Imagine if disruption orbs, the purification novas, had like a chance to just explode and deal no damage. Like I every time I try to consider both of the games, I'm really excited that disruptors are in fact quite so good. However, a couple of things that have been a little bit iffy is Padre is not good at dealing with harassment in his main. We're going to see this big double drop come in and take out the Robo.
Yeah, Padre was busy dealing with a little skirmish in the middle of the map, and he won that skirmish, but at what cost as these forces continue to overwhelm his infrastructure? The Robo is going to fall. Very critical, expensive, slow-to-build building here, and it looks like these Stalkers are actually in a bit of trouble here. He is going to blink in his Padre. The Widow Mines go off on his Stalkers, taking out a lot of Stalkers. He's going to trade a healthy chunk of his Gateway army for 2 Medivacs and a bunch of Widow Mines. I think cost-effectively that's okay for Padre, but he took a decent bit of damage from the drop.
Yeah, and more importantly, he took out both Robos, so that means that for the time being, there's no Immortals, there's no Disruptors, nothing going to be being produced there. It's just going to be Stalkers, and you can see on the other side of the map, it's almost completing 3-3 for his Marines. So, yikes, that is going to be it's almost completing 3-2 for his Marines. That is going to be devastating when it comes to all the damage these Marauders can dish out. Lots of Purification Novas coming out and getting some decent hits.
Oh, I think Padre might be looking to go for a big aggressive blink right here. He's got an overwhelming amount of units compared to his opponent, and there's just nothing to reinforce right now. He's going to be pressing up to this fourth base. A few bit of bio reinforcements going to trickle in from the right side here, but Padre goes for the big aggressive blink. He continues to push. He thinks he can take this hill, and he may be right. GG, well played is called, and a very scrappy game goes to Padre.
Indeed, it does. I'm just going to take a second to cough.
Hello? I don't think you unmuted.
Okay, not good micro with my mute button. I was trying to get everything correct, but oh yeah, about the game. It was actually really cool to see Timorous kind of come back there. He took a lot of harassment, but did a really good job with his Widow Mine harass. I think he got like, we checked the worker count halfway through, and he killed like 40 to 20 workers. 40 workers killed at that point in the game. Pretty ludicrous. So, I mean, he was doing his best to get back into it. He had solid micro, but macro is a little bit lacking there, and you really do have to keep on pumping out that bio to keep up with the value that Padre's Disruptors were able to get.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Really well done by Padre. Congratulations to him for taking the first map for UC Berkeley. Hopefully, Tag Your Pregnant is here because he's a really good player. Cobalt's a really good player, and I think that would be a great game to watch. You don't want to be forfeiting maps in the playoffs. But
yeah, that's another big thing, is that we are coming down to the playoffs. I mean, the top 4 teams are going to get a trip to Toronto, Canada to play for, I think it's like $8,000. So it actually just kind of matters a little bit, you know?
Yeah, but anyways, guys, we're going to be right back. But before we go, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Asus Republic of Gamers. You can check them out. They've got some really cool routers, some cool monitors, really high-end gaming PCs. If you need any of that kind of stuff or peripherals, be sure to check them out. Tell them CSL sent you. There's, of course, Twitch, one of the big sponsors of the CSL. You're watching it on their service. Obviously, you guys are already aware of them. And then, of course, Band Gaming, one of the biggest social gaming apps there is. Really great if you have a CSL team and you need some help getting organized. But anyway, anyways, guys, we will be right back with Tag Your Pregnant versus Cobalt.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. And all these steps that we take are leading us far away. And all these years are passing each day. Since then we are far away from where we were. We did what we could. We're light years away from where we stood. The road goes on far from it.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We're going to be hopping live into Cobalt versus Tag You're Pregnant in just a moment. How you doing, man? What'd you think of that first game?
First game was pretty good. We got to see both players do good stuff. I'm always a little bit hesitant about the games where one player just like steamrolls the other guy. But even coming into this game, this is actually going to be probably my highlight game in the match. But the way that CSL works, it's only two 1v1s and then a 2v2 and then Archon mode and then an ace match. But this is going to be the best of the 1v1s. You have two Grandmaster players. I've seen Cobalt, both of these guys play before in the past. Haven't kept up too much with them in CSL this season, but it's still going to be cool to watch them face off here on Abyssal Reef.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our purple Terran player for UC Berkeley. It is going to be Tag You're Pregnant.
Da, da, da. And his opponent across the map in the purple, which is not, okay, across the map in the red. It looks purple on my screen, to be fair. In the red, this is Cobalt. I look at Cobalt and I think, the Cobalt color, and red is just not that color, so it's throwing me off a little bit. But he does have the Longhorns logo at his hatchery, which is automatically going to make his Zergling's twice as dumb because I'm an Aggie fan. But either way, I'm also a little bit biased here because I do come from Texas. I've been to UT Austin more times than I can count, and certainly love to see Cobalt do well. But you were actually telling me earlier that you've had close personal experience with these players.
No, so I actually don't know Cobalt super well, but I do know Tag pretty well. He actually got top 8 at the most recent Cheeseadelphia tournament, taking out a lot of notable guys along the way. So he is someone that has some LAN results to back him up. He's been around forever. He doesn't play super seriously. He doesn't play in WCS or anything like that. But he's been a high-level kind of clan war player in the NA scene for a long time. Cobalt, don't really know anything about him, but he is a GM.
And as they say, statistics do not lie, and that's a pretty good. I'm not even sure that counts as a statistic. It's just kind of like a thing that is away. So Cobalt scouting across the map. It's only a 2-player map, so Overlords don't get lost out there. And in the meantime, it's just going to be interesting to see what these guys do. At least over here in Korea, you don't see players play quite this safely. Needing to scout out and see exactly what's coming his way as the first Reaper will hit into the main. He will reveal that, yes, in fact, there's gas pool and everything that you should expect to see up. See if this Reaper can get any kills.
Yeah, Tag is a guy that has really good micro, and he's not afraid to take advantage of that with some super aggressive, cheesy attacks. It doesn't look like he's going to be going for that this time, as he gets actually a bunker at the front of his natural. I wonder what he's going to be experimenting with here. Sometimes he likes to go for like powerful mech pushes with like those early game mech units like the Hellions and the Cyclones. He's a big fan of drop play. I know that for a while he was practicing with the Terran player Raze, if you know him, who's a guy who's known for just his really deadly timing attacks.
So this bunker is really weird to see. I mean, usually you only see bunkers in response to scouting with the Reaper and seeing either a very early pool or a ton of Zerglings pop out, because you do want to keep an eye on what the Zerg player is producing. And if you just take a look at the production tab, that's going to show you it's nothing but drones. And so at this point, that bunker is really a hindrance to this Terran economy, whereas you could have saved those resources and then, put them into more economy, maybe getting a third command center up a little bit earlier. This is a very, very safe Terran playstyle. So maybe just going for the strength of inevitability and just saying, hey, if I can just get my economy up and running, that's where I want to be.
Yeah, I almost wonder if, these guys are both GMs, right? So they probably hit each other on ladder, and I wonder if that was like a metagame move. Like maybe every time Tag loses to Cobalt, it's because he gets cheesed out, and he's like, you know what? This is the CSL. There's a lot of money on the line here, and I do not want to get cheesed out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and you can even see another interesting thing. Double depots being built just to wall off here at the front. I don't know. I don't see as much invested defensively here as well, but okay. That's a lot of drone kills.
Yeah, I think that Tag was okay to build that bunker to be on the safe side because, like I was mentioning earlier, he's a guy that's good with his micro and positioning, and with 4 Hellions, he managed to get 11 drone kills. That's not even the 6 Hellion run by that. That would still be great if it was a 6 Hellion run by, but he got 11 drone kills with just 4 Hellions, which is terrific.
Yeah, that last Hellion survived long enough to get 2 drone kills of its own. That's just actually not supposed to happen. And keep in mind, there's a lot of cool tech on the way here as well. I saw him getting the cloak upgrade earlier, but it was just like either a misclick or a fake, because he's going for Ravens here as well. So, this is just going to be a really solid start here for Tag. And he's going to get scouted here by this Overlord, which is going to see the 3rd command center coming up. But even that much harassment, I don't think it's actually going to matter too much, Joe. This is an unharassed 3-base Zerg economy. So unless these incoming 5 Hellions can really just kill everything, I think the Zerg will actually be okay.
Yeah, he's going to pick up 3 drones here before having to back off. That was obviously a bit less effective than his initial run by with the 4 Hellions. But he's going to continue with this double-pronged aggression. And if he can find a chink in Cobalt's armor, it's easy to make these kind of units just kind of spiral apart really quickly.
Spiraling apart sounds pretty painful, but the harassment has been prevalent and it's been pretty good. The unfortunate thing is that aside from one Marine, Tag has nothing that shoots up. So this Overlord is going to be able to chill out in the base and really see this big macro explosion. 3 barracks coming up and really just committing to heavy bio style. So in response to that, I mean, Cobalt's going to know everything that's coming his way. A little bit of auto turret harassment there, actually gets 4 drones. But like I said, an unharassed Zerg economy, you could build infinity drones. It's almost impossible to out-harass the Zerg's ability to make workers.
But that Raven did pull all these queens out of position, and that's going to open this up for the Hellion run-by here. These Hellions are going to continue to roast some drones, getting up to 11, 13, 14 drones total went down in that harassment, and this is really starting to add up in Tag Your Pregnant's favor, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you just check out the units lost, or the workers killed, 31 workers have been killed here by Tag, but he is still on 2 base, so finally expanding to his 3rd base right at the same time that Cobalt's expanding to his 4th. So everything kind of on par, but having taken out that many workers, that is going to limit the Zerg quite a bit. You can just see, if we, as all good followers of the Church of Todd are wont to do, look at the supply, you can see that, I mean, Cobalt quite a bit behind.
Yeah, absolutely. His next move is going to be the Mutalisk Den, but he doesn't have... Did I just say Mutalisk Den? He's going for the Spire to get those Mutalisks out.
It makes flying Hydralisks, guys.
Yeah, he wants to get those Mutalisks out, and that's going to be hard because he doesn't have a lot of money. His income should let him get there pretty quickly, but it's not going to be that burst of 8 to 11 Mutalisks that you typically see right when the Spire finishes on a 3-base game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 4th base coming up for the Zerg should equalize things. Also, might want to see a macro hatch here. I was looking across the map. A lot of times you'll see Zergs in Korea go for macro hatches very early on because they just say, hey, I'm going to take so many hits that this will really just allow me to keep up in the unit production. But here comes the big push. After being on 2 base, macroing everything up, this is a very scary Terran army, and really the only things to go up against it is going to be Zerglings and Banelings, and those still have to run in under heavy tank fire and a lot of good Marine micro. We should see pre-splits here as well by Tag if he wants to walk this far forward on creep.
So there are 7 queens, which should help back everything up, target those medevacs, push them away here, but this is still a very, very scary army from Tag. He's got a 1-1 finished up. His army is pre-split, like you mentioned, and he's actually going to take a really nice position here and just start DPSing down some of these drones from the high ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Zergling counterattack. This will actually be fairly effective. Take out quite a few SCVs, and then he's also going to be setting up for a nice little flank when he pulls back from that.
Absolutely. It looks like Tag is feeling a little bolder. He's going to push deeper onto creep here. Not going to scan and clean it up just yet. So now it's time for Cobalt to come in. The Banelings are running around from every side. The tanks help anchor this at the back. My game disconnects. Are you lagging in-game? Okay, cool.
Wait, yeah, okay, yeah, it was not just me. Okay, everybody's
okay, yeah,
lagging.
This was not our fault.
I mean, what a time to lag out there right as you run in with all of your forces. Cobalt, and also interesting timing on morphing those Banelings. That's not going to work out too well. I mean, one lone corruptor also probably not the cavalry that Cobalt was waiting to arrive.
Yeah, and Tag Your Pregnant appears to have broken the front lines of Cobalt. There is this Zergling run-by going on at the back, but it seems like it's being handled with an SCV pull and the remnants of Tag Your Pregnant's production. And this push is just going to continue to steamroll on forward here. This base is so vulnerable, starting to go down very quickly, and none of these drones should be allowed to escape once the base goes down.
Yeah, base just going to get taken out there, so really you're going to have to see a lot of value off of these counterattacks, but Banelings into tanks doesn't work, guys. That's not a strategy. And Tag will be able to take out Cobalt.
Yeah, congrats to Tag, bringing his team up to a 2-0 lead, which is that's very impressive. It's a really great place to be in the CSL, because now it just means they have to either win one of the team games or the ace match. Like, they have 3 opportunities to close this series out, and it's likely that the ace match would be a rematch between Tag and Cobalt.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. These are two Grandmaster players, both of whom illustrated really good play. I would say Cobalt did look a little bit weak, continuing to allow Hellions to run by and kill all of his drones. And even though he was able to produce quite a few drones, I mean, it just didn't allow him to have the army that he needed when Tag's push finally came out. So gotta say, Tag looking pretty good, and of course his team as well, now 2-0 up, and that's gonna bring us to our 2 versus 2 here in the third match.
Yeah, guys, so we'll be right back with that 2 versus 2, but while you're waiting, why not take out your phone, hop on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and download Band Gaming. They help make the CSL possible, and the least you can do is check out their awesome app.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. me, holding out a torch that's lighting up the way. I can't run and I can't crawl, but as soon as I scale your castle walls, I'll try to find you, 'cause I know I see it all tonight. Oh, I see it all tonight. I want you come alive. I feel what.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We're about to hop into our 2v2 between UT Austin and UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley is up 2-0 right now. If they win this game, they advance to the Elite 8 here in the CSL playoffs. And how are you feeling about this matchup?
You know, it's going to be Isaac and Sanguine versus Intuition and Udi. And Intuition is a player, the only player, at least I think, that I've actually met before from UC Berkeley. This guy is a monster. He's helped his team out for many, many years. And now coming into this 2v2, you know, it's going to be really interesting, Joe. I cast a lot of Brood War 2v2s, but suffice it to say, there's a little bit of luck involved in that, and it'll be interesting to see how things work out, because we're going to have a Zerg Terran versus a Protoss Terran, and Protoss Terran is just not a combination you use in Brood War TVTs, because Zerg is just so strong early on. So I'm wondering if the Zerg on UT Austin, Isaac, is going to give his team that early aggressive advantage, or what's going to go on here?
Well, before we get too far into things, let's introduce our team. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, playing for UT Austin, we have our orange Zerg, Isaac, and his teammate, the yellow Terran player, Sanguine.
Sanguine. All right. Their opponents on the other side of Mobius facility in the blue. As a Terran player, this is Udi. Udi. And his ally, not opponent, in the purple, this is Intuition. So really cool to see a Mobius facility. This is the very first time I've seen this map. Casting 2v2s is not necessarily my forte, so you're gonna have to help me out with this one, Joe.
All right, well, let's start by kind of walking through the map here. If we hop around, we can see that Mobius facility is, of course, a gigantic map. But just because of the way spawns work, most of the time you only see about half the map utilized. You're typically not going to see like a split map scenario like you would on Daybreak. It's so spread out that it's really hard to kind of protect those bases on the other side of the map. There's so much airspace that you can drop around here. With the spawns we do have, this rush distance via air is super, super short, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of drop heavy play, especially considering the fact that Odie can just kind of springboard right over to the Zerg player across that short distance. We've also got some gold bases, and those can be pretty critical for a Zerg to take if they want to be going for any kind of specific timing attack, obviously. A lot of the times in 2v2s, what you'll see is a Zerg opens up a little bit more aggressive to get map control, then he's backed up by further Terran aggression that's a little bit more tech heavy, and then while the Terran is being aggressive with maybe Reapers and Hellions, the Zerg will go from Speedlings into Roaches, or sometimes you just see two teams hit at once with one super, super potent army. But 2v2 I found, especially when you get into the higher level games, revolves almost entirely around timing attacks, both the kind of executing of them and the defending of them.
Interestingly enough, Intuition actually got a probe down to this third base to block the hatchery, and it should be noted that this is going to be 3 hatcheries for this Zerg player on UT Austin, and only 1 command center for his ally Sanguine, whereas up on the other side of the map, Udi is actually splitting bases with Intuition. So kind of interesting to see, allowing the Zerg player to get 3 hatches, which is, you know, what you would expect from a normal, you know, 1v1 Zerg game, higher number of hatches early on. But it'll be interesting to see what this how this affects Sanguine as a 1-base Terran.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to point out, especially considering that Sanguine's aggression is not kind of the archetypical 1-base aggression that you would think about. It looks like he's just going to be playing it safe, though, getting the command center on the high ground and then floating that down to the low ground. He doesn't want to risk any kind of early big push coming with 2 armies. Obviously, that can just be super, super potent when you can kind of combine and synergize your forces to take advantage of both Zerg and Protoss, or Zerg and Terran, rather.
Yeah, so the interesting thing here is that traditionally in 2v2, just because of the way that, the dynamic works, 2 players versus 1 player is just unfair, and you can usually just kill somebody. But instead, we're seeing a more macro-based approach. Reaper getting in for a couple of worker kills, but getting taken out there pretty easily, so nothing too crazy going on early on. And yeah, just macroing up.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think the most successful 2v2 strategy we've seen here in the CSL has been from Temple University. And what they do, I don't think they've actually lost a single 2v2 game. What they do is the first player hits with speedlings. It's a hatch first speedling rush. And he tries to wear down the opposing team a little bit. And then his teammate, who's a Terran, follows it up with a big wave of Hellions and then a dedicated Cloaked Banshee production. And it's just this 1, 2, 3 punch, and then it all ends with the Zerg player coming up with this big 3-base Roach army, and it just really wears the Terran down. And those kind of strategies are what we're used to seeing here in the CSL in our 2v2 games. Like you said, this one is going to be a bit more macro-oriented. We see layer tech coming up fairly quickly. We see roaches being made, +1 Ling attack being researched. I still think what we're eventually going to see is some kind of big timing attack here as these guys really start to power up and get their macro on. But it's not going to be super, super early.
Yeah, kind of interesting. At least in Brood War 2v2s, it's just what I have experienced with. It's kind of rare that games get to go the distance, but it certainly looks like this one will. You were actually talking about the air harass there. Sanguine was trying to get in with another drop there in the mineral lines, but an overcharge will push him back away. And it looks like we're finally going to have Udi expand to a 3rd Terran base, right as his ally expands to outside the base to their first few open ones. We're also going to have a 4th hatchery just being thrown down there by Isaac, right there in the I guess that's the 6 o'clock. It's like the inner 6 position, right in the middle of the map.
Oh man, so while that was going on, Intuition bled out quite a few Phoenixes just to an auto turret, which is not what you want to be doing in a 2v2. Phoenixes are such a great 2v2 unit. They let you control armies, get air superiority, pick up those power units, and then your teammates' ground army can just kind of clean up whatever's left. But that doesn't work if you lose them to auto turrets. Obviously, you need your Phoenixes alive and well to do that kind of space control.
Now, he is going to be able to control that space, finally taking out that dropship and an Overlord to boot. So even though the Phoenix count is not what it once was, it is still going to be good enough to guard this airspace against any further harassment. But, I mean, Joe, we're starting to see a big macro force move out across the map. And, nice snipe there on that the Raven, taking it out before this big push starts to hit.
Well, now it looks like it's going to be time for that attack that we were talking about. Sanguine going to be pushing up with an absolutely atrociously large Roach Ravager army here. The Corrosive Biles zoning out all of this bio, keeping it from getting the ideal engagement. Sanguine is targeting down this Nexus. He's taking advantage of that bio's DPS, but it definitely looks like Isaac is the stronger of these two players. A few more Corrosive Biles are going to force this army back. The Mothership Core goes down. That would have been a very critical unit for the defense here, and it looks like there's no sign of stopping from our University of Austin team. Or University.
Now they do. There is defender's advantage here, so they will have to watch out for that. And you can really see that come into play with all of Moody's bio reinforcing and finally able to push back Sanguine and Isaac. But I mean, that was a decent amount of damage done. They did take out that Nexus, and I guess we'll see if that's enough.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start for them, but I think they want to probably continue to be aggressive because we can see 25 Banelings being made. That's going to be such a powerful attacking army. They can just kind of crash that into any bio or Adept Force that comes out. It'll absolutely melt, and they should have DPS left over. At least that's going to be their hope with the Roaches and Ravagers to clean up the rest of the army.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you could just roll Banelings into these production facilities and it's just going to take them out. Now, this Remax force for the Terran player is going to start to incorporate siege tanks. Bad time to siege up, though. Just gets run right over. All of these Banelings just rolling in.
And here we go, continuing to press up this ramp is UT Austin These banelings are going to crash right through the front here. He's not able to raise his depot. Is this army going to continue powering on through? It looks like it might. Isaac's macro is particularly terrific here, and he's going to knock down this wall. That means he can walk on in without forcing himself into a super tight convex. A couple of Archons here are going to try to hold up the back line, but those corrosive vials may be able to take them down. One Archon falls, one is remaining, and that's basically the entirety of all those kind of complex tech units that the Protoss had available.
Yeah, Sanguine and Isaac. Isaac especially just really strong here, taking out everything in his path and now pressing forward. Now, bases are much bigger in 2v2s, so they will have a lot of stuff to kill, but I mean, they're certainly doing a pretty good job of it so far.
Yes, and now it looks like Isaac is going to continue pressing on forwards. There may be enough to hold just barely here, but no, it looks like the end of that army is going to be disappearing now, and Isaac and Sanguine carry UTA, putting one on the board for their team. GGs are called, and that's going to bring our score to 2-1.
Hey, man, that's the start of a comeback, and it's really cool to see the impact that team games do have on games. Just because, you know, maybe you only have good 1v1 players, that's only going to win you half your games. So really interesting to see a team that, you know, has fallen down 0-2 in 1v1s now start to bring it back. And up next we've got Archon mode, so kind of the combination of both our 1v1s and 2v2s coming up.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the CSL. We'll be right back with that Archon match. And in the meantime, if you need any cool gaming peripherals, be sure to check out the Republic of Gamers line from Asus. They've got routers that'll lower your ping. You don't want to be dealing with latency when you're playing StarCraft or anything like that. They've got great mice and keyboards, 144 Hz monitors. So be sure to check out their stuff. If you need anything, tell them CSL sent you, and we will be right back.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
is gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We have UT of A putting their first point on the board here, bringing it to 2-1. UC Berkeley just needs one more point to close this out, and we're going to be hopping into our Archon match.
Indeed, we are, Joe, and it's going to be really exciting. I've never cast an Archon mode match before. When I first started StarCraft, of course, Archon mode was not in Wings of Liberty. So now that I'm coming back and having to do my own observing, this is something I'm not super great at, but it's going to be exciting to watch our two Archon mode teams and see if UT Austin can keep themselves alive.
Well, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Terran Archon for UT Austin, and it's going to be Timorous and Sanguine.
And their opponent spawning on the upper left side of Honor Grounds in the blue. This is going to be Padre and Intuition. Dun, dun, dun. Of course, they will be playing, for Cal. So.
Yeah, UC Berkeley. So I think this is actually a pretty high-level Archon game. Everyone here, I think, is just about Masters 1, which is actually a bit higher quality than we typically see in our Archon games. A lot of the times, you'll have maybe one ace player and then one player that's kind of relegated to, just controlling one or two units throughout the game. But this is going to be a lot of players of roughly equal skill, so I'm definitely excited to see how it's going to go.
We do have our first worker harasses, and I'm guessing that the workers are going to be individually controlled. This SCV currently stopping this assimilator from being able to be built.
Yeah.
Bad guy SCV.
I mean, Archon is so cool because it opens up these.
Okay, we've got an entire human brain controlling a worker. It dies to two probes. All right. I don't know if that's really boding too well. Command center thrown down there at the natural, though. So, I mean, we've got a game that's progressing relatively well. Let's trade partners. I was like a human consciousness in the planet, It just lost a worker there early on. Yikes. So, I don't know, man. This is a rough start. See if they can come back from such a strong disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, that kind of thing is tilting, Our buddy No Regret once told me the first 5 minutes of a game aren't about trying to win. It's about trying to do little things to tilt your opponent off the face of the earth. And snapping up those two SCVs can definitely fall into something that's just obnoxious. I mean, we saw Timo joking about it here. And now he is going to be pushing across with this Reaper, trying to get some scouting information. But Mothership Core pops out at the perfect time, able to push that Reaper away before it learns too much.
Before he's seen too much, then they have to off him because he knows too much. All right. Well, in the meantime, we're gonna have Stargate Tech coming out from our Protoss, and it's gonna be against Reactored Marines. Wow, that was like a double spoonerism. Yikes. And of course, Starport on the way, looking to pump out some medevacs there as well. It's going to be a fairly late stim here coming from our UT Austin team, but in the end, he's going to have enough to defend against anything like early Oracles, Phoenixes, thanks to a lot of merging production.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the big thing of not having stim is he won't be able to chase anything that could kind of dart in and then run out really quickly like an Oracle is able to. But you know, you're gonna have to make certain production trade-offs, and I think that's a reasonable one to make, especially when you're gearing up with this kind of 1-1-1 style of opening. That can be so powerful. I mean, against Protoss, a lot of the times Terrans just want to go for a strong drop here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see once those medevacs get up if there's maybe some kind of single or double drop coming up.
Yep, and keep in mind, because this is Archon mode, you should theoretically see a little bit more attention to micro, and maybe that's what we're going to see, like with this hot drop there with the Marines right on top of the Adept. Just going to be able to pick it up. Theoretically, he should be able to pick these Marines up, boost forward, drop them again on the Adept, but instead we're just going to see them pulled back as this Oracle comes into the base. Ooh, nice Widowmine.
Yeah, really nice Widowmine there, taking out that Oracle basically for free. I don't think it caught a single SCV. Okay, one SCV, but that's still not a trade you want to be making.
Yeah, the other interesting thing is that you'd think, once again, with an extra player to control these units, you would be able to avoid things like that. But even I actually did not notice the Widowmine burrowed right underneath the mining SCVs. So really great positioning on that, able to really limit all of this early harassment. And you know, third Nexus on the way here for our Berkeley players. It looks like they are not really expecting too much aggression coming their way.
Yes, indeed. And on the other side of the map, UTA does look like they might want to be pushing out here. We've got this siege tank up in the medevac. All right, as I say that, they drop it out and go for the push without it. But that's okay. This Raven is going to add a lot of power, and especially because it's Archon mode, it can probably get pretty risky darting in, dropping an auto turret, trying to make something happen, and then pulling out without taking any damage.
Well, it won't be able to drop an auto turret anymore, Joe. It's just going to drop it right there, thinking that the Phoenixes were going to commit in on that, and they're still going to try to like weave around here and maybe get some pot shots off in this medevac. Just keeping an eye on this Terran force and keeping it from pressing out across the map.
Yeah, this medevac is actually going to be pretty vulnerable until Stim's done. The Marines just don't offer that much DPS against 4 Phoenixes, which are like kind of a weirdly tanky unit for what's supposed to be like a super light air unit here. And yeah, for now, these guys are kind of just at an impasse. The Phoenix is darting around, now starting to find some damage. There's a chink in the armor here, but that Widowmine's going to go off, and that's a lot of damage on that one Phoenix.
Yeah, preventing that missile turret from getting up as well. So really just delaying that. Decent Phoenix harassment, but you know, it's not going to be just about what the Phoenixes can accomplish. You're also going to need to stop this bio ball from building up. And so, I mean, because as great as Phoenixes are, Joe, don't get me wrong. Turns out lots of Marines kill lots of stuff, so you got to have something to deal with that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Terran go for a bit of a push here, moving across the map as it appears that our red player is doing. These Phoenix is going to come in from the side. One does get picked off. Having the weak one at the front is a bit of a micro mistake there. Typically, you want your stronger full health units to be up at the front, and he's going to need every unit he has to try to defend this push.
Yeah, he'll see it coming with the revelation there. This is going to be a +1 stim upgrade, timing with combat shields. Liberation zones coming out. He's also got PDD as well if he wants to go ahead and throw that down. This is a very difficult push to stop, especially with those liberation zones.
Yes, indeed, and now it looks like UTA is going to continue pushing up here. Those liberation zones are going to offer some support from the back, but the Phoenix has managed to dodge them, getting those tanks picked off, which really reduces the amount of firepower available to Terran here. All the pylon overchargers being forced to go off, even a bunker coming down. This is absolutely crazy.
Turns out PDD actually stops the pylon overcharge shots. What a great skill. Oh my god. All right, Big Shade in, though, going to try to break this Terran contain. Mines are out there. Feedback does go off, and that's a lot of Adepts shading right on top of UT Austin's forces.
Yeah, I think we've seen a pretty solid hold here from UC Berkeley, rather.
I don't know. There's more bio rallying in. Turns out Marines and Marauders are pretty good, Joe.
Yeah, but you can't keep pressing into that without medevac support. I just don't think the power's there without the healing. This army doesn't have the punch that it did at the start of this engagement. And UC Berkeley's going to hold on, oh geez, going up to 4 bases to just the 2 of Terran.
Yeah, also, the Terran stemmed those last few units right into the Adepts. Adepts with Glaive's 2-shot stimmed Marines, so without upgrades, obviously. So that's a little bit iffy. Lost all of his forces, and now not only does he have a lower army count, he has a massively lower base count. So you kind of have to wonder what's going on here with the two players. Theoretically, you devote one to macro, one to micro, but that's not always how things work out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes your teamwork's just not on point. Maybe you go to make one decision, your ally goes to make another, and it just ends up being wrong, whatever you end up doing. They're not going to tap out just yet. This is their life on the line here. They may be quite a bit behind, but you don't want to give up unless you know that you're absolutely dead. Because once they lose this map, or if they lose this map, rather, they are going to be out of the CSL playoffs. We've got $8,000 here on the line. And these guys are going to take this map very seriously because of it.
And a trip to Toronto, probably the best part of the prize. Toronto is super sick, so definitely looking forward to that event. Yeah, and it's going to be a rough road no matter who does wind up winning this. The winner of this goes on to face Temple StarCraft, who took out University of Florida previous round. So, it's kind of like a mixed blessing and a curse. It's like, well, I won, but then I go on to face a very difficult team, Widowmine Brewing, and a shot will get quite a few probe kills.
Yeah, absolutely. Another Widowmine does go off here, taking out 10 probes. These are the kind of moves that these guys need if they want to get back in the game as a UTA here. And they're going to go for a little bit of harass with just a single Marine. It's actually a really cute move, You're kind of just scouting, but with the DPS of the Marine, if there's no response, you can pick off a few probes.
The Assassin Marine. He goes forward, kills no probes, and then runs away. Like, I'm not sure that's really how you're supposed to go. That's like the Navy SEAL that's an actual SEAL, not a trained killing machine.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say about it, but we are going to see a double drop queuing up here. They're going to take that long way around, makes it a lot less likely that they're detected. So I think that Assassin Marine, that Super Commando Navy SEAL that went in and didn't do all that much, I think he was just confirming that, yes, there's a healthy amount of probes there if a drop were to go in at a later point in time.
Well, okay, so we're going to see another push out here for Terran. Trying to get something done, but he just has almost no units compared to the Protoss here. Even with great Widowmine connections here, he actually gets all three to go off, which is a rarity. This double drop is going to have to get a lot of work done.
Yeah, well, it's going to get off to a good start here as probes start dying very quickly. We see a bit of a slower pull than we would kind of expect in Archon mode when you have one person that's just supposed to be focused on all your bases. And it looks like UTA is trying to go Super Saiyan here. They're dropping absolutely everywhere at once. This fourth base looks doomed to fall. Archon going to be morphed in here, and this may be enough to push everything away, but the damage is already done, Rapid.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, hey, value is value. Taking out that fourth base, now all of a sudden, it's all you have to do is hold as the Terran player. Just hold this third base, keep the Protoss forces at bay, and you're actually going to be in a better position because Terran have mules. Now, Ghost coming out here as well. Nice EMPs all over those Archons in the front. Storm's coming down, though. Not actually in that great a spot. Okay, those are the money storms that will push back all this Terran bio.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough spot for our Red Terran to continue holding on here as UC Berkeley presses up. These storms are doing so much damage. Now they're getting on top of the workers as well as the army. They just want to keep pushing. Does UC Berkeley take out this command center? It does fall, and now I think Terran is on a big clock here. They have to make something happen. They're still dropping in the main, which is a good move, but they need to find a way to stabilize with their production.
Man, just endless storms coming out here from our Protoss team from UC Berkeley. Double drop is pushed away in the meantime. This Protoss force continues to push in.
I think we may see UC Berkeley going on to those quarterfinals against Temple as they continue to just power on through this base. Storms going down all over the place, and this is a very, very powerful army continuing to press onto the main. It's never a good thing when Protoss is on top of Terran's production.
I mean, UC Berkeley has always been just a dynasty in CSL StarCraft. Collegiate StarCraft is their bread and butter, and you're starting to see why. 2-0 up, winning both 1v1s, and now that it's back to the Archon mode match, we might just see UT Austin tap out.
Well, it looks like, yeah, this is going to be the end. This is kind of the processing stage where, you have your grief, and then you get angry, and then you deny it, and then you bargain. But I
Five
think
steps of losing to Protoss.
I think we're going to be seeing acceptance in a moment here as the supply plummets to beneath 10. GG is called. And a big congratulations to UC Berkeley, who's going to go on to play Temple. That will actually be the rematch of last year's final, which should be really exciting to see for both of these guys. Good showing by UTA. They really came out. They gave it their all. Making it to the playoffs here in the CSL is no small feat, but that will be the end of their tournament run for this season. Hopefully we'll see them again next year.
Yeah, it's always sad, especially for me, since I'm from Texas, to see teams drop out of the playoffs. But it just means that the teams that are remaining just keep getting better and better. Like we said earlier, this means that Berkeley will advance to face off against Temple, and of course we've got the remaining round of 8 matches coming up as the CSL StarCraft playoffs continue. We actually just finished up our League of Legends playoffs earlier, and there's a lot of playoffs that are wrapping up and just leading up to these CSL finals in Toronto.
Yeah, couldn't be more excited for those. It was a lot of fun. One final congratulations to UC Berkeley for making it through to that round of 8. And guys, if you enjoyed the stream, if you're a part of the CSL, be sure to check out and thank our sponsors. We've got ASUS with their Republic of Gaming gear, top-of-the-line peripherals, whether you need routers, mice, keyboards, monitors, or anything else you can think of. Band Gaming, really great social app. You can hop on that Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, download it, and check it out there. We've got some other kind of housekeeping announcements to do. The League of Legends Midwest Campus Clash is coming up. It's going to be April 8th at Columbia College. $25,000 on the line. Some of the best League of Legends players, collegiate athletes in the country will be there. So absolutely go if you're close. You can type Clash or exclamation point Clash in chat to learn a bit more. They're hiring a social media manager over at the CSL. You can go on to csstarleague.com to learn more about that. And last but not least, ASUS is having a contest. You can find out some more details about it on csstarleague.com. But the gist of it is you submit your best plays from members of your team in the CSL. The top 3 guys can win a ASUS laptop. It's about $1,500, I think. It's a really top-of-the-line gaming laptop. And then they have some more prizes for runner-ups and consolations and stuff, which is you can get some really cool swag for your team. The team that submits the most entries, and I believe that's across all games, will get a bag of ROG swag, stuff like hats, shirts, keychains, I think maybe a laptop protector. But that's going to do it here. Thank you so much, Rapid, for joining us. Where can everyone find you?
Well, in Seoul, South Korea, if you guys ever come down, you're more than welcome to find me here. I'm going to be casting SSL Challenger this Saturday, so make sure to come out and check that out. It's just been such a super sick season, so make sure to go check out the SSL this Saturday. If you guys want to follow everything else that I'm working on, you can hit me up on Twitter at twitter.com/rapidcasting, facebook.com/rapidcasting, rapidcasting on Dig, Instagram, Reddit, like all the places. That's me. So thanks for having me, Joe. It was great to get a chance to cast some CSL.
All right, guys. So we'll be back this Thursday. I'm not sure off the top of my head what match that is, but it is going to be one of our round of 16 matches. So be sure to tune in for that. And thanks for watching.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.